Are you constantly saying no or stop to your dog? Are you wishing for a little bit more yeses? Today we're going to be talking about motivation and how we can use it to create clarity for our dogs and giving more literal yeses than nos, making both of you guys way more happier and way less stressed out. Welcome to day 2 of our leash walking challenge. My name is Kristen and I'm from Salty Pack. So the best place to start any dog training journey is through motivation. Now, today we're going to be talking mostly about food. We don't have to use food for training, so there's plenty of ways to train a dog. And yes, while we don't need food to be able to teach loose leash walking particularly, it does make it a lot more clear when we give dogs a little bit more direction of what we actually want them doing. It also provides a little bit less stress of us always needing to tell our dog to no or stop. It's kind of like using the hot and cold game, but you're only using colder. Today we're going to be talking about using the hotter feedback for our dogs as well too, to give them more clarity. There's lots of ways to install this marker cue that we're going to be talking about, but we're going to try and keep it as easy as we can. So you're going to grab your hungry dog that's quite motivated for food. You're not going to ask them to do anything. A lot of people will accidentally just ask for a lot from their dogs. So this is your dog trainer saying, don't ask for anything from your dog, right? As much liberty as we can have them at, that's going to be great for us. But again, keep it confined, keep it low level distraction. Your dog is naturally gonna probably look at you for a bit of guidance as well too. But try not to ask for anything. We're just trying to create the yes means come get your reward from me. So as your dog is just kind of cruising around, not doing anything, if they're paying attention to you probably for the first couple times, that's gonna be beneficial. You're going to say your yes, and here's where it's very important. Then reach for your food. So in dog training language, we're going to say mark, then move. So give your yes, then grab your hand into your treat pouch to grab the food up to, at this stage, 1 to 5 pieces. The reason that we say mark, then move is because this can become a signal to your dog. We want the yes at this stage to be the only thing that's important for your dog. So as best as possible, yes, then move to get that food. Once your dog hears that yes, and you're then reaching for your food either in your treat pouch or your pocket, if you can do 2 things at once, start to move backwards a little bit. That will create a little bit more of that draw for your dog to come towards you. Plus, the movement is sometimes reinforcing enough for dogs that they'll wait for you to get that piece of food or whatever you're grabbing from your treat pouch or your pocket. So that kind of creates a little bit more of that enthusiasm, a little bit more anticipation. So if you can even take a couple of slow backward steps, that creates a lot of draw into you with your dog. So the process of installing this marker word or cue or whatever you're going to be using is essentially just getting the dog used to, in this case, hearing the word yes and being presented with their reward. The more enthusiasm that we can create around this word yes with the reward, the better and stronger it's going to be, which is going to help us communication down the track with our dogs. So our yes is what's called a marker or bridging word in dog training. You don't need to remember that, but essentially what our yes is doing is marking a point in time, saying that right there is what I like you doing. Come take your reward from me. So this creates a lot more clarity. You can train without markers, for sure, but your timing has to be super on top of it. That means that every time your dog does something that you like, you're presenting them with food or a toy or giving them pats and praise. But our timing can be really bad sometimes. So if we can have at least something that we carry with us all the time, like yes, that allows us to go, again, that is what I like you doing. Come get your reward from me. So it bridges that time between the point in time that we like them doing what they're doing into here's your reward for it as well too. A lot of people might be coming into this potentially with a deaf dog or just some physically impaired dog. Your markers don't even have to be verbal. You can use visual or even tactile, so touch, marker or bridging cues for your dog as well too. So for a lot of deaf dogs that we've trained in the past, this or this might be there, hey, that's what I like from you. You could also use an e-collar and potentially do like we can be creative here, right? We can do a little bit of stimulation or a low level vibration that says, hey, I like that. We can create a really positive association that brings your dog back to us, particularly being deaf. We can't necessarily get their attention at all times with our voice. So a little tactile cue can also act as a marker or bridging cue for our dogs. So work on this for, maybe up to, but no more, probably than about 10 repetitions in one session. This is actually a day of part of the challenge that I don't mind if you stay at this step for a few days up to a week. The more powerfully charged that we can get our yes to mean for our dogs, the better off we're going to be down the track. So if you choose to stay on this day of the challenge for a few more days, I am super cool with that. The videos will be up by the time that you're there, so don't stress. Creating a really powerful response to the yes can get us out of tricky situations, and when we start to look at triggers in the next few weeks, that will also give you a really powerful way to communicate with your dog, like, hey, you don't need to pay attention to that. Pay attention to me instead. Once you have a really good and strong, powerful yes at home in a low distraction environment, just start to play around with it in different places. Easy if you have, like, say for example, like a pool that your dog really loves to be around. Maybe make sure that you're setting up the clarity piece of it, that like it's not going to be a swim session, but see how much response they have to the yes in the presence of a bit of a distractor. If the pool, for example, is way too much, you can go to the backyard and just have like a toy out or something on the ground that is interesting to your dog. If you say yes, is your dog drawn back towards you? That's going to be our first little test. So start to add in a few different layers of distractors, competing motivators, to again build up a little bit more the generalization that yes means come get food or your reward from me. To supercharge your yes even more, it can mean pretty much anything that comes from you. So if you start playing with your dog throughout this challenge, which inevitably we will be doing, a little spoiler, you can start to say yes to come take that toy from you. So yes can be supercharged, meaning come take anything from me. Leaves a little bit of this like, wow, what's my mom or dad gonna have for me this time? Just a quick little consideration for some of our very food motivated dogs. I'm looking at you, my Labrador retrievers. We might be weaning off of food a little bit faster for you guys throughout the challenge. If your dog is super drivey for food, it's wonderful. It's a good problem to have, I promise. But we might not be wanting to take that level of energy with us around at all times, especially when we kind of want these little lower arousal types of walks. So we can use food for our play sections, as you'll see throughout the challenge, but just know that if your dog goes from here to here with food, we might be weaning off it a little bit faster for you guys.
All right, so we've got Hope here. She is a 3-year-old golden retriever. She's done a little bit of training with us, but we actually haven't done too much food training with her because her daughter is not actually very food motivated. So we're gonna see if we can do a little bit of the intro to the marker word conditioning with yes. So before we even get started, this is not the ideal place to condition this. There's gonna be some things around. She's obviously kind of a little bit distracted with stuff. Totally fine here, but probably best done in like the backyard or somewhere like super, super quiet that there's not a lot going on. So before we even start the conditioning phase for her, I'm gonna offer her some food for free and see if she even wants it. Hope. So no conditioning with yes or anything, I'm just offering it for free, good. Is she gonna work a little bit for it? Nice, all right, cool. We've got some sort of buy-in from her. If I didn't have that, I would just stop the session right there. If it's too much of a distracting environment for her, we can find somewhere quiet. Maybe she's already had breakfast or something. We wouldn't have breakfast, have a hungry dog before you get started. So all of those things before. So again, like I explained before, it's going to be mark and then move. So I don't have any food in my hand or anything like that, but I'm going to, when she's not super distracted by things, I'll give my marker word. Did you just burp? Did you just burp? Yes. Nice, good, good job. I had a couple of pieces of food, so I just gave her a couple of taps on that slip leash just to keep her moving with me. Nice. So we're only gonna do this probably a few times today, just as our initial kind of conditioning. So many things. Yes. Nice, just one that time. Good girl. So because she doesn't know what it means, my body language of the movement backwards actually helps to bring her in towards me, because yes is going to be, hey, you're done doing that, come receive food from me, and I want her coming to get that food. I also don't want to like have the rabbit jump into her mouth. I want her sort of pushing into it. That's going to help us with our attitude as well too. For when we do have yes, I want it to be pretty explosive, and I want her kind of like pouncing into that hand for the food. Yes. Nice, we're getting there. Oh, drop that. Nice, good job, sweetie, good work. So that was nice. We could see a tiny little bit of like a flinch that she's starting to get it and come towards me. I'm even gonna give myself, like I'll call myself out. It's very hard to do the mark and move. You have to be super, super conscious of what you're doing. We've got a couple of dogs passing by here. She's usually fine. She's just gonna watch them. Hoppy. Good, nice work, sweetie, good job. Nice. I know, now you're expecting it, which is good. I like that sort of engagement and focus that she's got with me. Good girl. Yes. Less of a response that time, that's all right. Let's see if we can get one more response once this, I think it's a border collie walks by. Nice job, girly. I might even just have myself over this way. Nice, good girl. And this is a reality for some people. Maybe you don't have a backyard to do this in. You have to do it out in public if you live like in an apartment or something. So there's gonna be things that you work against. Totally fine. I always talk about there's perfect world and there's reality. This is reality. I know, that dog looks like it's having fun, doesn't it? Hoppy. Good, nice work, girly. Can we get you over here? Good. And notice how I'm not putting her into a sit. I'm just letting her be free. I don't want this to become a, like, you sit and then you get the food. I want this only to be about the marker word conditioning. I'm just gonna tap her over here. Good. Let's see if I can set it up for. Yes. Nice, good job, girly. So I would say she's still responding, nice job, my girl, to my movement, not necessarily my word of yes, which is totally fine. This is like kind of a first session that we're really doing this very formally for her. Nice job, sweetie. So remember to make sure that your dog actually wants what you have. If you have a perfect world and you can do it in the backyard, great place to start in a low distraction environment. You don't have to have the dog on the leash, but it does help a little bit. If she wasn't paying attention or coming back with me, we can try those just little like come back into me moments of like tap, 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 bring her back in so that she is taking the food. So make sure that they want the food on or off leash in the backyard. But if you have to, if you live in an apartment or something like that, just try and find somewhere sort of low-key distractions that you can work around. This will probably take a little bit longer that we're working through that, but she responded quite nicely. We saw a little flinch on like, I think it was the third repetition of it. And try and keep your sessions a little bit, like don't do too many of them. I don't want it pushing. Like if you can get somewhere between like 3 to 6 maybe for like your first session, fantastic. For the 30-day challenge, this is one of those things that you can do throughout the day as well too. So maybe just before their breakfast or just before their dinner, maybe keep a little bit extra. So you can do this multiple times. The more that you do it in this kind of formalized way, the faster that you'll get that marker word conditioning for them. But she did really nice. Hoppy. Hoppy, good job, sweetie. Super girly. All right, let's go.
Thank you for watching and tuning into day 2 of our 30-day leash walking challenge. You are now on your way to having more yeses than nos during your walks, making a way less stressful walk and much more calmer and clearer communication between you and your dogs. Please make sure to subscribe to the 30-day leash walking challenge so that you can get the next video right when it lands. Thank you again.